Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I've got some team action coming your way this afternoon, chaps, because I know how erotic you find the 2v2s. First of all, though, I'd like to say a quick shout out and thank you to Cybergenics. He, very out of the blue, hit me up for my PayPal address the other day and gave me a very welcome, surprising donation out of nowhere. So thank you to him. Every little helps, as they say over here in the supermarket industry. Not that we're promoting one supermarket over the others. They ain't paying me, Sodom. Other supermarkets are available. On to today's game, anyway. Rescue myself from a tangent. Like I say, it's going to be a team game. It's going to be a 2v2, and it's going to take place on Theta Passage 2v2, and I'm excited because we haven't done one of those before. So let's go over to the game zone now and see how these guys are going to get on. So Theta Passage 2, as you'll notice, Theta Passage 2v2 I should say, as you'll notice, remarkably similar to Theta Passage regular, barring of course the fact that there are two starting locations on each plateau at the rear section of each starting area, and lots more mass, of course. Usually you just get the mass point here, and one's down here, but that wouldn't suffice, of course, for two players on a team. So anyway, let's take a look at the players. Up here in Regal Purple, going UEF, it's Albatard. He's opening first land, going to shove that down off the cliff onto the ground because, quite frankly, there is no room up here at all. I suppose he could have shoved it there, but then that makes things a little bit crammed. So anyway, his teammate next to him, we saw him in a cast the other day, Antwoord. I think he just ended up losing that game. That's a bit of a spoiler there if you haven't watched it already, to Stefan. Check it out though if you didn't see it. Always fun to watch this guy work. Anyway, he's going mellow yellow Seraphim, opening first land. Plenty of room for him to build back on the rear plateau though. And their opponents down here at the bottom left, we've got Fahrenheit in kind of lime green, if that is right. It's sort of light, it's just a bit lighter than lime green. It's like combat green probably, or not even that. I don't know, it's some kind of green. I've forgotten all my color coding systems. You'll bear with me though, I know, because you're nice. He's going Cyber in, opening first land, doing the same little thing, distance building there down on the lower section. And last but not least, it's SiggyAU, or SiggyAU, AU for Australia or something, but Siggy is how I'm going to refer to him. He's going Aeon, and he's going Ferrari Red, and he's also building on the main section, opening first land, going second land as well. And I can't help but notice that teams look a little bit stacked in favor of Team 1 up here at the top right. We'll call this Team 2 down at the bottom. They seem to have a significantly higher overall rating, but we won't let that discourage us from enjoying the game anyway. First couple of units there from Fahrenheit making contact with a few forward units from Albatard. Not working out quite so well there for Fahrenheit. Those strikers dispatching that mantis and that mole without any difficulty whatsoever. And how do I expect this to go? Well, to be honest, I don't know. This is the first time I've ever watched a 2v2 game on Theta. Usually, obviously, you get your little ACU conflicts down in the middle. You might get some wall buildings down here to close off these apertures so people can focus on one particular area. But there's a serious amount of variables here with the extra players. And of course the extra mass as well, so a lot of more mass coming into the game. Expect it all to escalate that much quicker than it would on Theta. Theta traditionally a very slow moving game indeed in terms of the amount of mass coming in, but it's obviously a very small map as well, the smallest type, 5x5, so yeah, close proximity, but lots more mass in close proximity anyway. But a little bit of combat going on there between Siggy and Antwoord. Aurora's initially not holding up too well, but eventually stemming the tide with a couple of FAMs that were coming that way. But up here, Fahrenheit, wandering around with a couple of mantis, managed to finish off that, was that a striker and a snoop? I think it was that striker and a snoop we saw from earlier, forward units that were down there. So Fahrenheit going nicely there, able to clear out those forward units from Albatard, who's marched his ACU forwards, having a bit of a cigarette break, but decided as soon as we started looking at him to start building. Didn't want to get caught napping on the job. And we're already getting transports building here, which is quite interesting, and mech marines as well. So Albatard going for a ghetto gunship here at minute 4, and it's quite a hefty strategy that could cause all kinds of problems. What have we got in terms of air down here? No air coming out of Siggy's corner at all, and none coming out of Fahrenheit yet. You can see he's queued a factory up there, but that's coming on next, coming off that engineer, but that probably won't get built in time. However, Albatard's quite far forward. He's trying to throw together a plasma cannon to secure that area, but there's a lot of hostiles in the area, including Fahrenheit's ACU. I think when they realize Albatard's ACU this far forward, they might potentially converge. Fahrenheit, for the moment, slightly more concerned about this plasma cannon, but in come the Ghetto gunships, 2 of them Albatard has managed to get together, and this could be catastrophic. Fahrenheit also taking a lot of damage from that plasma cannon. Albatard also buoyed by the fact that he's got Fahrenheit on the run. Doesn't want to get too far forward. There are a lot of units down here. Does he have access to overcharge? I'd be surprised. No, he doesn't, so he needs to be very careful, and he's down to just 3,300 HP. He could have killed off a lot of these units with these ghettos, but he's going back after Fahrenheit's ACU, but that's going to be a mistake, I think. Down into the red he goes, and he's not going to get out of there. Boom, he goes down, and that's a horrible ending to Albatard's game when he surely would have managed to kill off Fahrenheit. That air factory has finished. Yes, the interceptors are finished. He might still get him. Oh, it's going to be close. Interceptors flying around, but I think that Ghetto gunship's going to go pop before he can get anything done. There it goes. And that is a colossal shame there for Albatard. Down he goes, and suddenly Antwoord finds himself alone 2v1, and that's going to be a very tough ask for him. Siggy very far forward with his ACU as well. Albatard suggesting that Antwoord moves out as soon as possible to snag all of this mass from that base. Of course, Fahrenheit doesn't want Antwoord to get any of that if he can stop him at all. Both he and Siggy moving forward with his units. He needs to keep Antwoord out of this area if he can manage it. It's a tough ask. He has got access to T2 tech though, have an HQ in place there, and Ilshivers are on the way. He already has a couple of T2 engineers, and he's busy building point defense that will afford him some protection from this T1 spam. That now means that Team 2 aren't going to be able to bum rush him and just take this base out. Does he have access to overcharge as well? No, he doesn't. So he is relying on this point defense right now. Fahrenheit content to just hold position here and swat any engineers that come this way. Of course, no engineers are going to make their way. If anyone comes that way, it's going to be the ACU and potentially the odd Ilshiver, which are now rolling off the factory production line. But there are jesters on the field as well for Fahrenheit, who was forced into some air production there from those Ghetto gunships, forced to focus on it, and now finds himself the only one in the game who has anything remotely resembling aircraft. So that could be a little bit of an advantage, but they've allowed Antwoord to get his comm in here to start recycling some of these factories, but the Jesters come in, so do the Mantis. Antwoord's going to back up and get himself away from these units if he can, but there are now 1, 2, 3, 4 Jesters in here and an awful lot of Mantis. The Thams come in as well as this Ilshiver to try and assist the ACU. What, if anything, can he do about these gunships? He's starting to produce Ioshivers now. It's the only play that's open to him, and those Jesters won't fare too well against that T2 mobile flak. Antwoord's still in the yellow, around about 5,000 HP, not looking too bad. And what did he manage to scoop out of that? Well, he's only on around 1,200 mass in terms of reclaim, so he hasn't benefited hugely from that as yet. And you look at the total deficit he's running. Obviously, he's doing better than Team 2's players individually. 31 mass per tick plays, 26 and 23. But you add those two together, that's a significantly larger amount of mass going into the coffers of Team 2. than Antwoord is receiving. The question is, can they direct that economy into something that's going to effectively deal with Antwoord? That's going to require teamwork and communication. There is a lot of spam on the field here. All Auroras, though. I'd like to see Ziggy throwing a few more fervors into the mix. He's going to need that artillery to do damage to the buildings, certainly if he's going to be able to effectively deal with what is a nasty looking point defense battery going on here. He's got 4 T2s in place, a 5th one in production. That could be major issues just trying to break this. Needs to transition into higher tech, I think. Get some mobile missile launchers on the go. And we are seeing a transition to tech there for Fahrenheit, but that's actually on the air factory. And you know what? I don't actually like that move. Air is excellent for, obviously, maneuverability around the map, but this is going to become a dense fortification now for Antwoord. He can only way out of this is to turtle and hope he can eco up fast enough to get some kind of play on one of these two, maybe with a snipe or something. And air isn't really going to help Fahrenheit. It'd be great if there was spread out mexes around the map, but they've got him cornered. What they need is punching power. So I think a land upgrade would have been better, but personal preference. We'll see how it works out for him. Mantis moving forward there from Fahrenheit snags an engineer. That's probably going to pick up that Mex as well. And look at that, it's a nasty group of Ilshivers building up there for Antwoord, who's just carving a slice through those Auroras. As we all know, Auroras manufactured primarily out of aluminium foil and baby's skin. Horrible practices the Aeon have. It's disgraceful. One single solitary jester just working on mexes back here up at the top for Fahrenheit. Ilshiver, though, moves into position. Will be able to take pot shots at it, although it looks like the jester's just kind of skirting in and out of the map area. But we have Corsairs on the field, and that would have been a nice bombing run. Could have taken out all 4 units of build capacity there if he'd have timed that right. 100% sure on how good the intel is. Actually, it's pretty good for Team 2. Seem to know most of what's going on there. Actually, that's just purely thanks to this Corsair. Comes in for another run, misses another opportunity on these 4 units build capacity that are, again, working on upgrades for Antwoord's comm. You just get the feeling Team 2 aren't pressing the advantage that they have. In terms of map control, it's 75% in their possession right now. But that is a nasty looking group of Ilshivers. Lots of paused factories down here. The question is, what, if anything, is Siggy working on? Core T2 mexes back there. Is he actually upgrading any factories? It's tough to say. But Antwoord not getting too cocky. He knows he's got a lot of T2 on the field, but he can't afford to lose these units. If he loses it, that will be game. So he's happy just to skirmish backwards and forwards and draw Siggy onto this point defense for extra damage, and that really is slicing its way through those units. Now Fahrenheit's turn to have a little bit of a probe up top. Trouble is, Antwoord's commander is in the area, and that looked like quite a fast rate of fire there. It's up to 14,500 HP on the comm. He has got T2, and he has got the gun upgrade. So a little bit tanky, a little bit dangerous in terms of damage. Does he have overcharge yet? Yes, he does. So you're not going to be breaking this area with T1 at all. Still yet to see some upgrades, but looks like there's one there that's been paused for Siggy. In terms of eco though, still Antwoord on 41 mass, so at level par with Fahrenheit, but Siggy ahead on 50. He's been ecoing a little bit harder, but what good is eco if you can't turn it into weapons to kill your enemy? They need tech. Siggy's still working on an upgrade on his comm. Guess he's probably going to wait for that to finish. But these Ilshivers don't seem to be diminishing in number at all, and every time one of these skirmishes happens, it seems to be Siggy that's losing out. How are we actually doing on reclaim? Well, Siggy is ignoring reclaim this game. He's only on 486. Fahrenheit's a little bit better, 3,000. And this is going to be the crucial number, 5,400. It's not huge. There hasn't been a huge amount of conflict. There is, though, a large mass field down here, though, from all of these Aurora wrecks. You can see the engineers coming in there for Antwoord. Should go some ways to helping him boost his eco a little bit, but still they're not pressing the advantage. However, large group of Corsairs building up for Fahrenheit. I'm wondering if this is a snipe attempt on the cards. The longer they leave it, the harder it's going to be. Antwoord is now secure underneath a shield and is extending the range on the PD by building it out slightly further. Siggy walling off that bottom section, but he's got virtually nothing to stop these Ilshivers. Still doesn't have access to overcharge either, so he could struggle with the commander, but the upgrade is finished. Let's take a look at what it was. It was just the T2 upgrade. A little bit concerned for Team 2 though, how long they're leaving this. A little bit of a skirt around with the Corsairs there from Fahrenheit, and only 15 minutes gone. But that is a lot of fighter bombers. He must be considering a snipe, surely. You can get in here with the ground units, deplete the shields. He might be able to do something in just a couple of passes, but look at this. I mean, he's got 3 Ioshivas, 5 Ioshivas, in fact. They're all Ioshivas under there. And they will shred the Corsairs, and this is what I mean. This is why that upgrade to T2 in the air, I just don't feel it was right. The wall sections having been breached down here, but despite that, Antwoord not looking to push forward. Probably something to do with this advance coming up here, and there is a stealth gen here which is probably stopping Antwoord from getting any kind of solution on the Cerberus turrets, but a quick scout plane over will reveal those and allow Antwoord's PD to open up on them. In come the Mantis though. Corsairs poised over the top, but now we have T3 on the field for Antwoord as well, so it's all kicking off at the same time. The Corsairs come in for a bombing run, going straight for the commander. He should have put at least 1 or 2 onto the shield gen, I think, but look at it. They're not even going to get a second pass, I don't think. He's lost at least half of them. They turn to make another approach, but Antwoord still well into the green, and that's a huge amount of eco effectively dumped into the proverbial SOPCOM toilet. And despite slightly weakening this position, Team 2's situation has not improved. If they'd have just taken out that shield gen, they could have potentially brought in something, maybe some T1 artillery or something to take down these point defense turrets. But down goes the stealth gen. Fahrenheit trying to throw together a shield or something, but I think he's going to have to back up. And the proximity is too close. He's not going to be able to erect a base there. And an Otham skirting up around the top, going to prevent any run-bys, but we have a Southerners, a T3 mobile artillery piece now out for Antwoord. And yes, we finally reached T2 tech, and in fact Siggy is bypassing T2 and going straight for T3, and that's absolutely essential at this point. He's got the eco to potentially outproduce T3. It's a lot of Cerberus turrets, and I just feel that Fahrenheit and potentially I suppose Siggy as well have been far too concerned about contain on this map and haven't been thinking kill, 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 which is unfortunate. They've allowed Antwoord back into this game. Onward push this small group of units at the top, couple of Ilshivers and an Otham. Bottom Ilshiver taking just enough fire to take it out there from that Cerberus turret. Doubt they're going to get too far. They're now in range of a couple of Cerberus turrets. So Mantis come forward as a mere gesture. They're not really of any use now in the game anyway. Might as well put some damage on that forward siege tank. But now multiple Southerners on the field. They're going to be able to slowly dismantle the defenses that have been placed around here, and Siggy needs to start focusing on some T3 production. Indeed, he's doing that. Couple of hubs already on the field. We now have an upgrade to T3 air. Suppose potentially some gunships could do something, but once again we're still talking about a small space, making life incredibly difficult for gunships. Flak, very effective indeed. Strap bombers would be a nice way to go, but to be honest, Fahrenheit does not have the economy for that. I don't really think he has the economy for T3 gunships either. And this Southerners getting pinged now by Team 2. This could be dangerous. Incoming on Siggy's base. Lots of build capacity vulnerable. Shell lands, takes out what looked like a T2 radar there. In the meantime, he's also pushing right Siggy, but a beautiful shell lands in the middle, takes out large quantities of build capacity around that T3 HQ. Siggy moves his ACU out of the way. There's also a couple, or in fact 3 T2 P-gens in place there for Team 2. They don't want to lose those at any cost, and I think this is Ziggy's plan to move forward and finish off this Southerners, or at least get it to retreat, get it out of range, prevent it from causing any more problems. Very nearly finishes off a power gen, takes it down to around 200 HP. Ziggy's ACU gets on repair duty, but the Othams are very nearby, and these hubs not getting any traction at all, so that Southern is still alive and kicking. Now there are siege tanks hanging around on the scene down here as well, and I cannot believe how this game is turning. Yep, collectively they're still ahead on eco, but they're not currently finding any way to break through Antwoord's D. They've got we've allowed him far too much time to build up. Little attack on this band of Ilshivers at the bottom, takes it down to just a couple, maybe even finishes them off altogether. Indeed, he manages it, but there are a couple, or in fact 3 Othams over here. He's not going to want to get tangled up in those. They're going to be able to carve their way through all of those Auroras without any trouble. However, Harbingers moving in at the same time. Nice little maneuver there from Siggy, trying to sandwich these units. 2 of the Othams go down, the third is in full retreat. And Antwoord on an upgrade again on his commander. We'll take a look at what that is the moment that finishes. That's a lot of HP. That has to be the nano upgrade. Nano repair system. There it is. 20,000 hit points, and that's going to make any snipes, they were even on the cards, twice as difficult now. But they just haven't developed at all. Team 2 down here have done virtually nothing, and Antwoord has actually caught up Siggy in eco. He's way ahead of him on power, and now is overtaking him on mass as well. One single solitary strap bomber out for Fahrenheit. Down it goes. Lots of inties on the field there for Antwoord. And Antwoord's actually looking quite brave. He's forward with his commander. He's buoyed by all of these hit points hanging off him. Wants to get in there, overcharge these hubs. Bam, there it goes. Beautiful overcharge. Takes out 2 for 1. Another one comes in, takes out another 2. Just one Harbinger left in this pack, and suddenly this whole band of units, sorry, another Harbinger left there at the back, but this whole band of troops for Siggy looking incredibly vulnerable. Basically just been muted down there, but this is another group of harbs coming through the aperture in the center of the map. And a Monkey Lord on the way, so we'll see what happens if Team 2 can combine their strength. I think Siggy needs to throw some build capacity of his on there. He's got the larger of the 2 ecos. If that's going to get finished in time, that could potentially end this game. But it needs to happen fast. You can see Siggy shuffling some engineers over there. But now some Volthus come in, and where did they come from? We've hardly seen any aggression from the air in this entire game from Antwoord. But they've caught Fahrenheit, who's been way forward. And he thinks he's dead. I think he's transferred all of his stuff over to Siggy to give him a mass boost. But of course, when he goes pop, which he's gonna do, bam! All of those units will go as well. So he's gonna lose that Monkey Lord. You can see Siggy having already ceased production on that Monkey Lord. Albatard saying it's GG. I think it well might be. They haven't been able to crack this nut as a team, and it's very unlikely Siggy's going to be able to do it on his own. There goes Fahrenheit's base. He's got a lot of harbs up here, and it looks like he's sending it in for a push. This is going to be an all or nothing play, but these shields, that commander, and these Othams and point defense, I think he's got far too much in here for Siggy to have any hope of a breakthrough. Harbs coming forward and just getting melted by that PD. Siege tanks advancing at the same time. Harbs faring about as well as the Auroras at this point. And down they go. And that is surely game. Just as I say it, boom! Siggy control case is com. And Antwoord takes it, having lost his teammate very early on indeed. Manages to secure the victory. However, I think he lucked out a little bit with the playstyles from his opponents. They just didn't push. He is, of course, the top-rated player in this game. But I don't think Fahrenheit played to his full strengths. I've seen him play in some other games. He's given out better performances than that. I think his main issue was just that choice of air upgrade. But I hope you enjoyed that, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.